Okay, so now I remember where I was going. So we had Aldous Huxley talking about the doors of perception. Now he was long, long time ago. Aldous Huxley, I'm going to guess his book was probably in the 50s, 1950s. So his idea was that we're looking at a field of information that's, everywhere. And it's too much for I don't know how you put it. But basically, he said the brain acts as a reducing valve. So it takes, if there's billions of bits of information around you, your little spot of awareness, that's all you really are, is a little spot of awareness. If there's billions of bits of information, used to be 8 bits make a byte, and then there was kilobytes, and then megabytes, and then gigabytes. And, in another 10 years, there'll be zigabytes or some other terabytes. They've already got terabytes. Zigabytes, I'm going to make up another one. Just an enormous amount of data. It's too much data for this, what we used to call a physical organism, a human being. We're just not built for that much data. So the brain acts as a reducing valve. It takes, I don't know, 96% of all the billions of bits of data around us and throws it away. So it just takes a small, little tiny sample of the amount of information around us, and that's what gets fed to our little piece of awareness. So we don't go crazy with TMI, too much information. And Huxley said that's what LSD did. LSD was, fairly prevalent among the intellectuals in the 1950s. And so I'm pretty sure he was on acid, unless it was mescaline, which is, like a form of, it's either cactus or magic mushrooms or something psychedelic. And he said what it does is it lifts the reduction valve of the brain so that you see all the information. And I think he gave the idea that that's what he thought schizophrenia was, people that had too much information, TMI. Um, I think the whole theory of Aldous Huxley has to break down, though, because if you could take like one micro, is it a microgram? It's not a milligram, it's a microgram. It's like a few millionths of a gram. A little teeny, it's like, I don't know, a few grains of salt or something worth of, LSD. And if it can go and uh, remove the reducing valve of your brain, the theory breaks down. How can such a small molecule remove your brain? Well, in those days, they thought the brain was actually a physical item. These days, it's just nothing is physical anymore. It's all data. So it's like a screen. Your regular day-to-day brain is a screen for all the billions of bits of data that's out there. And it does take little samples of it, and it gives you a select few bits of the billions of bits of data that's around you. And it filters it, and it actually lies to you. I mean, you even know from like this old textbook that's a million years old that used to be used, Gleitman, Basic Psychology, and they talk. Can you see that? I gotta look to see Gleitman, Basic Psychology, and they talked about optical illusions and how easy it is to fool the eye. So the brain isn't too swift. But I mean, that's based upon the old idea that the brain is a physical item, and we've thrown it all away. Everything is data. So what you have is a point of awareness, which is basically analogous to a computer's central processing unit. Or is it? Or maybe what it throws up on your screen, on your display screen, because that's what you're aware of, what you see on the screen. So actually, I guess the central processing unit is part of the filtering of all the data. So why do we have this? Um, I'm sure it's by design. Whoever designed this experience of us here um, designed it so that we're kind of trapped. We already know that we're trapped by a lot of our beliefs. That book, the psychology book, talks about classical and operant conditioning, which you can do with things like seagulls and pigeons to train them to do things. You know, you give them a reward of food. Um, let's see. So, sorry, one of the cosmic characters keeps talking. I've told them a million times if I'm giving a lecture, don't speak in the middle of it. And they do it all the time, and it throws me off. I've told them a million times, don't do it. They still do it, and it throws me off. And then I get annoyed. Do you want to know why I wrote today on my Facebook that cosmic characters have? I basically told them all to fuck off because they are uninvited, not guests. They are brutalizers. They brutalize me, and they just completely ruined my video. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm going to have to take a break. I've been triggered. I have to come back because they throw me off. Who are the cosmic characters? The cosmic characters live on Saturn, and and that's where my physicality originates on a computer on the surface of Saturn, and the computer beams information to a satellite on the rings of Saturn, and then it goes to the moon, where there's a moon base. Lunar Operations Center on the backside of the moon. You can ask Corey Good and David Wilcock about that. And who's that guy on Coast to Coast Radio? They talk about it all the time. And then the information is beamed to the simulated planet uh, called Earth. Everyone thinks it's like a globe or a flat Earth. The truth of it is, it's just a hologram. It's a holographic projection that to our awareness seems to be solid, but it's all because the data is just making it look that way. So, do we actually have a brain? It's a holographic projection. You got to trace it way back to Saturn, to that computer on Saturn. Is it a physical computer? Uh, I'm just trying to figure it out, but I don't think anything is physical at all. So, it's a dimensional computer because I heard a YouTube commentator say something about at higher dimensions. I mean, we're basically either in 3D, 4D, or 5D as humans on planet Earth. Um, at the higher dimensions, uh, their consciousnesses and computers are all one and the same. Maybe they're like Commander Data or the Doctor on Star Trek. I gotta